Hello, everybody. It's Dave Neal, stand-up comic, host of Bachelor Nation News. And I'll be quite honest with you, I don't even know what day it is because your boy's on vacation. Am I mailing it in? No. I'm throwing fastballs down the middle, and we have another one for you right now. That's right. I'm telling you what's coming. Just a fastball down the middle, and you ain't hitting it because we got the good news, and I'm in Bali. And Bali's a Coke Zero country. Let me tell you, I would have been so pissed if I came all the way to Bali to find out that they're drinking Pepsi over here. But no, it's a Coke Zero country. We're having a blast. And how about this? And this video that Rachel has here, Rachel Lindsay, is actually a few weeks old. Sometimes these things just don't make it onto my desk until a few weeks late, but too good not to share. She says nothing can bring me back to The Bachelor. And then her co-host, Van Lathan, says, how about $10 million? And she's like, well, I'm not stupid. Yeah, for $10 million to come back to the show. And she says she thinks Chris Harrison leaked the story, the rumor that Chris was wanted back by producers. So Chris said, I live by the axiom, never say never, because in life and business, that comes back to bite you in the butt. Would I have that conversation as far as returning to the show as a host? He said, yes, I also believe in relationships and in business. Take the phone call and you listen and you have that convo, whether it's uncomfortable or not. Here's Rachel's response to hearing whether or not Chris Harrison is interested in coming back to The Bachelor, essentially calling him out, saying either he leaked or someone in his camp leaked this bogus story. Have a listen.
The League of Batch. Have you guys seen the reports?
And I saw yes, and I also saw the other report.
I saw a shocking report.
Get to it.
Soup Kitchen might be serving again very soon.
And a soup kitchen is their term for Chris Harrison.
There is reportedly interest between a super dog and Batch in a reheating.
Get to it.
Meal.
Get to it.
You are so into Bachelor Nation News, and I actually love to watch that.
Now, I know I didn't invent the term Bachelor Nation News, but I have to think Rachel's watching our channel. Rachel, DM me. Throw a shout out. You want to be a guest on Bachelor Rush Hour? Let's do it.
Like, you get all into it, get all excited about it.
Well, look, we've made a decision.
I could care less.
We've made a decision here on this podcast.
And I believe Rachel when she says I could care less. I don't think she cares about the show anymore. I think she's got enough going on in her life.
To not intersect with Batch or TMZ unless it's necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So if you didn't catch this, and I hate to interrupt so much, I know it annoys some of you guys, but Van and Rachel have something in common in that they're kind of both, I don't want to say ostracized. They're not ostracized whatsoever. Rachel doesn't want to associate with Bachelor because of the trauma. I mean, come on, they cast known racists on her show. You know what I mean? She had to deal with so much BS from her season and on, and Van had to deal with a lot of stuff at TMZ. So they both only talk about TMZ. And by the way, TMZ stands for the 30-mile zone, which is the zone around Los Angeles. The more you know.
I don't feel like we can't even mention it. What other report did you see? I haven't seen a report that he's not going back.
ABC immediately. You know how normally they're like, oh, we reached out to ABC and couldn't get a response? ABC immediately was like, that's absolutely not true. That's just a rumor.
Yeah, how funny. So this Chris Harrison story from a few weeks ago. Chris is wanted back by executives. Literally, like ABC gets on speed dial and they go, no, it's bogus, not true. And he's like, whoa, geez, they didn't even wait a day.
We're denying that. That's not true.
Did they say unequivocally that there's no way that they would ever have him back?
I don't think that was the wording. But
so you're telling me there is a chance, the Dumb and Dumber movie. What? She's like, I wouldn't date you in a million years. And then he goes, what about all that 1 in a million talk? What one of the best comedies of all time.
They came out and said that there was no truth to that.
So you're telling me there's a chance.
I believe. Let's not beat around the bush. The man has a podcast. Okay, I wouldn't be shocked if it came from them. What great publicity for you. What?
I mean, she's not wrong. Why wouldn't Chris leak a story that Bachelor wants him back? The ratings are down, which is just such a dumb thing. The ratings have been down for so long, and all of cable, all of TV ratings are down. But yeah, he's got a podcast to promote. Why wouldn't he leak it? And again, credit to him if he did. It's not like it's some salacious story.
You think Soup
I don't put anything past anybody.
leaked this rumor himself that he's coming back to
Not
the Batch?
himself. I don't think he did it, but I think somebody closely affiliated.
Lauren
probably
Zima.
did.
Could have been Lauren Zima.
So I gotta
It's
say,
genius, right? Everybody's talking about it. You address it on the podcast. Go ahead.
I'm rooting for Soup to come back to Bachelor.
Why, Van?
The meltdown will be so fucking sufficient
True.
if we get a super dog.
You'll have people that are excited. You'll have people that are angry. I mean, it would really. I mean, it's not going to happen. At least for another couple of years.
You mean
It
from
would
the audience?
shake. Oh my God. Everything would be shaken up. Everything would be shaken up. People will be so mad. Soup will be at his smuggiest, and he's at his best when he's smug. Okay. I don't like humble Soup, and he never is. Soup will be at his smuggiest. It will be.
You got to give Chris Harrison credit. He is pretty smug the way he's been talking about on his podcast. I'm not saying he's over leveraged what he means to the show, but I think the show proved, ratings aside, because sure, people left because of Chris, but for the most part, the downward trend was already happening. I think the show proved it can exist just fine without him. I mean, Jesse Palmer is objectively as good, if not a better host than Chris. They're different, but leave a comment. You can disagree with it, but it's not like it's the Chicago Bulls getting rid of Michael Jordan in his heyday. You know what I mean? Chris Harrison's he's not a main artery at this point. He's your left hand if you're righty.
One of the best things to ever happen to Batch in terms of Batch bullshit. Because let's be honest, nobody gives a fuck about Batch right now.
True.
Watch this. Donnie, who is the current Bachelor?
Oh, I do not know.
See what I'm saying? Ashley, who's the Bachelor right now?
I unfortunately know, because I'm working on a Bachelor Party podcast.
Right, move it forward.
No, it's important to know that Batch is kind of not where it used to be. I'm sure the ratings are still great, but I don't hear the
No, they're not.
fucking critical mass of Batch. That's going to make them do something really desperate, which reheat the soup, reheat the soup. And then after that happens, it's going to be, we're going to come into the time of the Great Batch Civil War.
And what does that look like? Who's on whose side?
Okay, so this is the sides in the Great Batch Civil War.
And here's where it gets interesting, folks.
On one side,
here's where it does get interesting. Rachel Kirkconnell, of course, is going to come into the fray. That's, she's the epicenter of the earthquake that ended up with Chris Harrison getting fired, of course. She, the antebellum style photos that came out from her in college. Chris Harrison spoke on her behalf. Rachel Lindsay is about to defend Rachel Kirkconnell. Have a listen.
we have the Soup and Tears. And that is led by Chris Harrison and his group of Batchites. And Rachel, I'm sorry to say, on the other side of the Batch Civil War would be the Lindsay Holics, who would be led by you. And it's a battle for the soul of Batch.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
You know why this isn't true? Because that
It's a
would
fact.
mean that I'm still affiliated and care to be affiliated with what happens with them. See, I can completely draw a line in the sand of I don't want anything to do with that, and I don't want to be a part of that at all. There has to be something at stake for me for there to be a civil war. There's nothing for me. I don't want to go back to anything. I don't want to be affiliated with it. Don't call me. Forget I was a part of it. I'm done.
Wow.
There's nothing. There is nothing that could bring me back. Not a reunion, not an apology. There is nothing. I close the chapter. Done.
Now, what if, of course, you get fired from your job, you need the, whatever. We learn this in business. We learn this in economics. There's a price to everything.
Okay. So,
And here we go.
I think we all know that this is cap. Okay, and let me tell you why. If they offer you,
Almost said something.
if they offer you 10 a year right now to host The Bachelor, you're doing it.
Mill?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not fucking stupid.
All right, so get off it then. So get
Yeah,
off it.
there's always a price for everything. She's not stupid. You'd have to be an idiot not to take $10 million. In fact, she'd probably do it. I mean, I don't know her finances, but I'm sure she would do it for $500,000. I mean, there is a price where it's like, okay, I'll take the money. But of course, they're not going to offer that to her.
Rachel.
But that's never going to happen.
Exactly.
Do you know
right?
that there's
I'm
no amount of,
realistic.
do you know that there's no amount of money that I could be offered to host TMZ?
$1 billion.
Like zero.
It's a different.
Zero.
That's totally different. There's no amount of money I could be offered to host TMZ. To be honest with you,
Damn, that's crazy.
there's nothing. So what The Bachelor does with the host, barely there, show up once a day, host a rose ceremony, say this is the final rose, and be out. Sure, I'll take 10 mil. Let's take Spotify on the road. Let's take Higher Learning on the road. Which country is The Bachelor filming in?
What's crazy is TMZ was actually a fun show to work on. It was like fun. Have fun in the morning. Wake up in the morning, have fun. Let me tell you something. But here's the thing about.
By the way, and then we don't know all the details, but Van was fired from TMZ after a fight, it appears. According to the website, Van Lathan disagreed on the topic of Ellen DeGeneres sitting next to former President George W. Bush at a football game. This was in 2019. While the nature of the reported dispute between Van Lathan and Babcock was not immediately clear, the Daily Beast highlighted a tweet posted earlier this month that claimed to show 4 still shots from the live broadcast of the show in question. So, and I'm sure they've talked about it a lot since then, but I guess there was a lot that happened behind the scenes at TMZ. They had a nasty confrontation about politics, and the pair appeared on the... okay, well, there's more on that in a different story. You can Google it yourself.
The Lindsay Holics. Okay. The thing about the Lindsay Holics is that it wouldn't be your decision. The faction of people that would be against reheating the soup, they would appeal to you. You are their leader. Okay? They would say to you, because right now, let's be honest with it. Right now, you up. Really, the Great Batch Civil War has really kind of already happened, and you guys won. This is the second Batch Civil War.
Do you guys agree? Van says Rachel Lindsay has won the Bachelor Civil War between Chris Harrison. I mean, Chris Harrison's found success in his own way, and so has she. I would call it a draw.
Couldn't you say he did too? He got paid off.
He got paid off.
Ah, nigga. That's not what he wanted to be.
But that's
That's
true.
not.
That's true. He didn't want the money. Chris Harrison did not want the money. He wanted to keep his job.
Right. I will agree with that. That's
See what I'm saying? See, and this is why this goes back to the Kaepernick thing. It doesn't matter how people think somebody is winning or doing great. It's about what they want out of their life. That if he was back on The Bachelor, all of the Kirkconnells,
Soup bites.
all of the Kirkconnells, all of the
No, I think she would be on our side.
So Rachel Lindsay says that Rachel Kirkconnell would be on Rachel Lindsay's side of the argument, not on Chris Harrison's. And of course, we have no reason to not believe that Rachel Kirkconnell owed nothing to Chris Harrison. He was just, speaking on her behalf, or speaking for her when we don't know that she asked him to.
Kirkconnell will be on our side?
Yeah. Remember,
Why?
he spoke for her. She didn't ask for that.
True.
I think she should be on our side.
So you like Kirkconnell?
I'm actually, this is an amazing opportunity for me to promote an event that I have in New York with none other than friend of the podcast, Matt James. I'll be doing a 92Y live event where Matt James will be moderating a conversation with me about my new book. For the first time ever, you will have the first Black Bachelorette and the first Black Bachelor on stage live.
Why don't we show that for the first time ever? The first Black Bachelorette and the first Black Bachelor on stage live. Our good friend Justin Takes the Batch actually shared the video of that. Here they are, Rachel Lindsay and Matt James. Let's have a watch on the intro. So I don't have any footage right here. Apparently, it has been sent to me, although I'm having a hard time accessing some websites from Indonesia. So I don't have any clips from this video yet. But Justin Takes a Batch said, "What a freaking moment. I had the pleasure of meeting Rachel Lindsay tonight, and she did not disappoint." So yes, she's got her new book, Real Love. And I would love to interview Rachel if she'd have me. I'd love to talk about her book, but I need to get some more info about it. But I think it's just came out. I believe it's her first fictional book here. She says, "Thank you so much for coming." And, our good friend, correspondent, our good East Coast New Yorker there, Justin Takes the Batch, always able to get boots on the ground for the activities happening in Bachelor Nation. So if the line was drawn in the sand, it looks like Rachel Kirkconnell is on Team Rachel Lindsay, as Rachel Lindsay seems to be on good terms with Matt James. Of course, Matt James and Rachel Kirkconnell are seemingly doing very well, and that's a pretty confusing way to end this story. But either way, this is what happens with time. It takes a lot of time, but throughout time, we get to hear people's true feelings on the matter, and we have Rachel Lindsay casually talking about Chris Harrison in a way that, hey, with all due respect, she's entitled to her opinion on the matter. She's right. She didn't ask to get thrown into this situation. Either way, I love hearing about it, and let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment. Keep it kind and respectful, as always, whether you agree or disagree. We have to live in a world where we value decency in the comment section for God's sake here. Okay, folks, well, more content coming your way. Bachelor Rush Hour, the podcast, and if you haven't already, check out my other video today. Nick Viall absolutely blasting Zach for his sort of lack of empathy on this season of The Bachelor. If you haven't checked that out, make sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the alerts and all that jazz to make sure you're up to date on all the content. Bachelor Rush Hour, the afternoon podcast available every day, a daily podcast of all the Bachelor news. We'll have more different Bachelor stories, fresh content over there right after this.